Hello and welcome everybody, this is TP Gaming coming to you from JFK International Airport in New York. How is everybody today? I hope you're all doing good. Okay, what do we have in store for you today? Today we are going to try and simulate the Carnarsie approach that is being in effect in New York due to other airports around. So given to the things that we couldn't do within this game, I'm trying to simulate the Carnarsie approach by doing a little trick there. True, it's not going to be the real thing, but it's going to be as close as possible. So I hope you will enjoy it. And we have a pretty tight schedule here with lots of departures. Today I'll be using runways 4 left and 4 right for departures, and of course the 13 left and 13 right for arrivals. I may push 1 or 2 on the 4s, but I'm not sure yet, but most probably I'm going to get everything on 13 left and 13 right. Yeah, I think, well, we'll see if it's going to work or not. Schedule is done by PK Mega, so shout out to you. Thank you very much for your schedule. Then I would like to welcome all you new subscribers. There have been a few in the last week due to the Honolulu Airport that came out, so welcome everybody and thank you very much for subscribing. Feel free to leave your thoughts on the comment section and let me know if there's anything you would like me to improve or change, or if there's anything that you've come up with. There seems to be somebody out there who is always disliking my channel, which is fine. That's okay. I don't have a problem with that, none at all. I'm just sort of wondering if it is you who is always disliking my videos. I'm sort of wondering why you would do that. One thing that comes to mind is that you want to see all my videos, and since you keep forgetting which one you saw, you just press the unlike button and then you know, okay, this is not at 100% anymore, so that I must have already seen this. Or if there really is something that you do not like about my videos, then you know, feel to come forward and let me know what in your opinion I am doing incorrectly or wrong. But apart from that, again, if anybody dislikes these videos, that's absolutely okay. Of course, you don't hit the nerve for everybody. But it'd be interesting to see if you do not like it because of something that makes sense or just for the sake of it. Then I'd be interested to know, because I'm always keen to better myself. And yeah. But apart from that, if you do like it and do enjoy, then please subscribe. And that would be fabulous, because that'll make the channel grow, and that'll make me very, very happy. Alright everybody, lights are already turned on, so we do not need to do anything on that. We are going to turn our cameras on and see that we have some unique views today. There's some modifications in there which could be quite of interest for everybody, so just listen to what the pilots say. There are many more things that have been programmed in. And apart from that, let me press your thumbs or cross your fingers so we can manage this Carnarsie approach. Alright everybody, thanks very much for tuning in. Let's get going. Delta 408 Heavy, pushback approved. Expect runway 13 right at Papa Charlie.
Ground, 13 right at Papa Charlie, pushback approved. Delta 408 Heavy. Ground, Swiss 23 Heavy, request pushback.
Swiss 23 Heavy, pushback approved. Expect runway 4 left via Alpha Kilo.
Ground, 4 left via Alpha Kilo, pushback approved. Swiss 23 Heavy. Ground, Endeavour 5149er, request pushback.
Endeavour 5149er, pushback approved. Expect runway 4 right at Hotel via Golf Zulu. Oh, it's too short.
Takeoff.
Okay.
Runway is too short. Endeavour 5149er.
Endeavour 5149er pushback approved. Expect runway 4 right at Juliet via Golf Zulu.
Ground, 4 right at Juliet via Golf Zulu pushback approved. Endeavour 5149er. Ground, JetBlue 65 request pushback.
JetBlue 65 pushback approved. Expect runway 4 right at Juliet via Alpha Foxtrot Zulu.
Ground, 4 right at Juliet via Alpha Foxtrot Zulu pushback approved. JetBlue 65.
Ground, Virgin 46 Heavy request pushback.
Virgin 46 Heavy pushback approved. Expect runway 4 left via Alpha Kilo. That is silly. Virgin 46 Heavy pushback approved. Expect runway 4 left via Bravo Kilo.
Ground, 4 left via Bravo Kilo pushback approved. Virgin 46 Heavy.
Ground, Delta 408 Heavy request taxi runway 1 tree right.
Delta 408 Heavy, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, Delta 408 Heavy. Tower, KLM 64 Heavy inbound runway 4 left.
KLM 643 Heavy, and a final runway 13 right.
Ground, Delta 471 Heavy request pushback.
Delta 471 Heavy, pushback approved. Expect runway 13 right via Alpha Quebec.
Enter final runway 1 tree right, KLM 64 Heavy. Ground, 1 tree right by Alpha Quebec pushback approved, Delta 471 Heavy. Ground, Swiss 2 Tree Heavy request taxi runway 4 left.
Swiss 23 Heavy, continue taxi.
Ground, Endeavour 5149er request taxi runway 4 right. Continue taxi, Swiss 2 Tree Heavy.
Endeavour 5149er, continue taxi.
Ground, JetBlue 65 request taxi runway 4 right. Continue taxi, Endeavour 5149er.
JetBlue 65, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, JetBlue 65.
Ground, Virgin 46 Heavy request taxi runway 4 left.
Virgin 46 Heavy, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, Virgin 46 Heavy.
Ground, American 1278 request pushback. Tower, Delta 807 Heavy inbound runway 4 right.
American 1278, pushback approved. Expect runway 13 right via Bravo Quebec.
Ground, 1 tree right by Bravo Quebec pushback approved. American 1278.
Delta 807 Heavy, enter final runway 13 right.
Ground, Delta 471 Heavy request taxi runway 1 tree right. Enter final runway 1 tree right, Delta 807 Heavy.
Delta 471 Heavy, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, Delta 471 Heavy.
Swiss 23 Heavy, hold short of runway 4 left.
Hold short of runway 4 left, Swiss 2 Tree Heavy.
Endeavour 5149er, hold short of runway 4 right.
Hold short of runway 4 right, Endeavour 5149er.
JetBlue 65, hold short of runway 4 right.
Tower, Delta 4 Heavy inbound runway 4 left.
Virgin 46 Heavy, hold short of runway 4 left.
Hold short of runway 4 right, JetBlue 65.
Hold short of runway 4 left, Virgin 46 Heavy.
Delta 807 Heavy, enter final runway 13 left.
Ground, JetBlue 907 request pushback. Enter final runway 1 tree left, Delta 807 Heavy.
Delta 4 Heavy, enter final runway 13 right.
Ground, American 1278 request taxi runway 1 tree right.
American 1278, continue taxi.
Enter final runway 1 tree right, Delta 4 Heavy.
JetBlue 907, pushback approved. Expect runway 4 right at Juliet via Foxtrot Zulu.
Continue taxi, American 1278. Unable takeoff, runway is too short, JetBlue 907.
Wow. JetBlue 907, pushback approved. Expect runway 4 right via Zulu. JetBlue 907, pushback approved. Expect runway 13 left. We'll do it this way.
Ground, 1 tree left pushback approved, JetBlue 907.
Ground, Delta 44 Heavy request pushback.
Delta 44 Heavy, pushback approved. Expect runway 13 right via Alpha Quebec.
Ground, 1 tree right via Alpha Quebec pushback approved, Delta 44 Heavy.
Swiss 23 Heavy, runway 4 left, line up and wait.
Runway 4 left, line up and wait. Swiss 23 heavy.
Endeavour 5149, runway 4 right, line up and wait.
Runway 4 right, line up and wait. Endeavour 5149er.
So as you guys can see, everything is coming down the bottom, and then we're just going to push them all up here, make them turn around and come back down again.
Tower, JetBlue 1042 inbound runway 4 left. Ground, Endeavour 3436 request pushback.
Endeavour 3436 pushback approved. Expect runway 4 right at Juliet via Alpha Juliet.
Ground, 4 right at Juliet via Alpha Juliet pushback approved. Endeavour 3436.
Delta 408 heavy, runway 13 right, line up and wait.
Ground, JetBlue 907 request taxi runway 13 left.
Swiss 23 heavy, wind is 35 at 1 knots, runway 4 left, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 13 right, line up and wait. Delta 408 heavy.
JetBlue 1042 enter final runway 13 left.
Runway 4 left cleared for takeoff. Swiss 23 heavy. Enter final runway 13 left. JetBlue 1042.
Virgin 46 heavy, runway 4 left, line up and wait.
Runway 4 left, line up and wait. Virgin 46 heavy.
JetBlue 907 continue taxi.
Continue taxi. JetBlue 907. Ground, American 2529er request pushback.
American 2529 pushback approved. Expect runway 13 left via uniform.
Ground, Delta 44 heavy request taxi runway 13 right.
Delta 4 for heavy, continue taxi.
Ground, 13 left via uniform Alpha pushback approved. American 2529er.
American 2529 pushback approved. Expect runway 13 left via uniform.
Continue taxi, Delta
Where does it
44
say uniform
heavy.
Alpha?
Ground, 13 left via uniform Alpha pushback approved.
American
2529er.
American 2529 pushback approved. Expect runway 13 left. We'll do it this way.
Ground, 13 left pushback approved. American 2529er.
Endeavour T436 continue taxi.
Ground, Endeavour 3436 request taxi runway 4 right.
Endeavour 5149 wind is 35 at 1 knots, runway 4 right, cleared for takeoff.
Continue taxi, Endeavour 3436.
Delta 408 heavy, wind is 35 at 1 knots, runway 13 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 4 right cleared for takeoff. Endeavour 5149er.
JetBlue 65 runway 4 right, line up and wait.
Runway 13 right cleared for takeoff. Delta 408 heavy.
Delta 471 heavy, runway 13 right, line up and wait.
Runway 4 right, line up and wait. JetBlue 65.
Swiss 23 heavy, contact departure.
Runway 13 right, line up and wait. Delta 471 heavy.
Okay,
Contact
that was a little
departure.
bit too
Good
close
evening.
up the
Swiss
top
23
there.
heavy. Tower, JetBlue 402 inbound runway 4 left.
Ground, Singapore 25 super request pushback.
Singapore 25 super, pushback approved. Expect runway 4 left via Golf Alpha Kilo.
Ground, 4 left via Golf Alpha Kilo pushback approved. Singapore 25 super.
JetBlue 402, enter final runway 13 left.
Enter final runway 13 left. JetBlue 402.
JetBlue 65, wind is 35 at 1 knots, runway 4 right, cleared for takeoff.
Ground, American 2529er request taxi runway 13 left.
American 2529, continue taxi.
Runway 4 right cleared for takeoff. JetBlue 65.
Endeavour 5149, contact departure.
Continue taxi, American 2529er. Contact departure, good evening, Endeavour 5149er. Ground, Royal Air Maroc 201 heavy request pushback.
Delta 471 heavy, wind is 35 at 1 knots, runway 13 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 13 right cleared for takeoff, Delta 471 heavy.
Endeavour 3436, hold short of runway 4 right.
Hold short of runway 4 right, Endeavour 3436.
Royal Air Maroc 201 heavy, pushback approved. Expect runway 4 left via Bravo Kilo.
Ground, 4 left via Bravo Kilo pushback approved. Royal Air Maroc 201 heavy.
Delta 408 heavy, contact departure.
Ground, Singapore 25 super request taxi runway 4 left.
Singapore 25 super, continue taxi.
Contact departure, good evening, Delta 408 heavy.
Continue taxi, Singapore 25 super.
American 1278, wind is 34 at 1 knots, runway 13 right, cleared for takeoff.
Tower, Delta 468 heavy inbound runway 4 left. Runway 13 right cleared for takeoff, American 1278.
Delta 468 heavy, enter final runway 13 left.
Enter final runway 13 left, Delta 468 heavy.
KLM 643 heavy, runway 13 right, clear to land.
Ground, JetBlue 1677 request pushback.
Endeavour 3436, wind is 34 at 1 knots, runway 4 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 13 right cleared to land, KLM 643 heavy.
JetBlue 907, runway 13 left, line up and wait.
Runway 4 right cleared for takeoff, Endeavour 3436.
JetBlue 1677 pushback approved, expect runway 4 right at Juliet via Foxtrot Zulu.
Runway 13 left line up and wait, JetBlue 907. Ground, 4 right at Juliet via Foxtrot Zulu pushback approved, JetBlue 1677.
JetBlue 65, contact departure.
Tower, Air Portugal 209er heavy inbound runway 4 right.
Delta 471 heavy, contact departure.
Contact departure, good evening, JetBlue 65. Contact departure, good evening, Delta 471 heavy.
Ground, Delta 476 heavy request pushback.
Delta 807, runway 13 left, clear to land, wind is 34 at 1 knots.
Unable to comply, Delta 807 heavy.
Delta 807 heavy, runway 13 left, clear to land, wind is 34 at 1 knots.
Runway 13 left cleared to land, Delta 807 heavy.
Royal Air Maroc 201 heavy, continue taxi.
Ground, Royal Air Maroc 201 heavy request taxi runway 4 left. Continue taxi, Royal Air Maroc 201 heavy.
Air Portugal 209er heavy, and a final runway 13 left.
Enter final runway 13 left, Air Portugal 209er heavy.
Delta 476 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 4 left via Alpha Kilo.
Ground, Alitalia 605 heavy request pushback.
Ground, 4 left via Alpha Kilo pushback approved. Delta 476 heavy.
JetBlue 907, wind is 34 at 1 knots, runway 13 left, cleared for takeoff.
Ground, JetBlue 1677 request taxi runway 4 right.
Delta 4 heavy, runway 13 right, clear to land, wind is 34 at 1 knots.
Runway 13 left cleared for takeoff, JetBlue 907.
Runway 13 right cleared to land. Delta 4 heavy.
Alitalia 605 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 13 right via Alpha Quebec.
Ground, 13 right via Alpha Quebec pushback approved, Alitalia 605 heavy.
JetBlue 1677, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, JetBlue 1677. Tower, JetBlue 424 inbound runway 4 left.
Ground, JetBlue 2903 request pushback.
JetBlue 424, enter final runway 13 left.
Enter final runway 13 left, JetBlue 424.
Endeavour 3436, contact departure.
Contact departure, goodbye, Endeavour 3436.
Singapore 257, Singapore 25 Super, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, Singapore 25 Super.
Royal Air Maroc 201 heavy, hold position.
Hold position, Royal Air Maroc 201 heavy.
KLM 643 heavy, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal, KLM 643 heavy.
Delta 4 heavy is good. American 1278, contact departure. American 1278, contact departure.
Ground, Speedbird 172 heavy request pushback.
JetBlue 907, contact departure.
Contact departure, good evening, American 1278. Contact departure, good evening, JetBlue 907.
Delta 476 heavy, continue taxi.
Ground, Delta 476 heavy request taxi runway 4 left.
JetBlue 1677, hold short of runway 4 right.
Continue taxi, Delta 476 heavy.
JetBlue 2903, pushback approved, expect runway 4 right at Juliet via Foxtrot Zulu.
Hold short of runway 4 right, JetBlue 1677.
Royal Air Maroc 201 heavy, continue taxi.
Unable takeoff, runway is too short, JetBlue 2903.
Continue taxi, Royal Air Merak 201 Heavy.
Delta 44 Heavy, runway 13 right, line up and wait.
Ground, Alitalia 605 Heavy, request taxi runway 13 right.
Alitalia 605 Heavy, continue taxi.
Runway 13 right, line up and wait. Delta 44 Heavy.
Continue taxi, Alitalia 605 Heavy.
Delta 807 Heavy, taxi to terminal via Alpha.
Tower, Delta 799er inbound runway 4 left. Taxi to terminal via Alpha, Delta 807 Heavy. Ground, JetBlue 659er request pushback.
How are we doing down here? JetBlue 1677, runway 4 right, line up and wait. Virgin 46 Heavy, wind is 3481 knots, runway 4 left, cleared for takeoff. JetBlue 2903, pushback approved, expect runway 4 right.
Runway 4 right, line up and wait, JetBlue 1677.
JetBlue 1042, runway 13 left, clear to land, wind is 3381 knots.
Runway 4 left cleared for takeoff. Virgin 46 Heavy.
Delta 799er, enter final runway 13 right.
Ground, 4 right pushback approved. JetBlue 2903.
Speedbird 172 Heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 13 left.
Runway 13 left, cleared to land, JetBlue 1042.
Delta 4 Heavy, taxi to terminal.
Enter final runway 13 right, Delta 799er. Ground, 13
Singapore
left,
25
pushback
Super,
approved.
runway 4
Speedbird
left, line up
172
and
heavy.
wait.
Taxi to terminal. Delta 4 Heavy.
Delta 44 Heavy, wind is 3381 knots, runway 13 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 4 left line up and wait. Singapore 25 Super.
Runway 13 right, cleared for takeoff. Delta 44 Heavy.
Endeavour 19997, pushback approved, expect runway 4 right at Juliet.
Ground, Endeavour 199er7 request pushback. Ground, 4 right at Juliet pushback approved, Endeavour 199er7.
JetBlue 402, runway 13 left, clear to land, wind is 3381 knots.
Runway 13 left, cleared to land, JetBlue 402.
American 139er, enter final runway 13 left.
Ground, Speedbird 172 Heavy, request taxi runway 13 left.
Virgin 46 Heavy, contact departure.
Enter final runway 13 left, American 139er.
JetBlue 1677, wind is 3481 knots, runway 4 right, cleared for takeoff.
Contact departure. Good evening. Virgin 46 Heavy.
Runway 4 right, cleared for takeoff, JetBlue 1677. Tower, American 139er inbound runway 4 left.
Delta 476 Heavy, continue taxi.
Ground, Iberia 6252 Heavy, request pushback.
Royal Air Maroc 201 Heavy, hold short of runway 4 left.
Continue taxi. Delta 476 Heavy.
Singapore 25 Super, runway 24,
Hold short of runway
Singapore
4
25
left,
Super.
Royal Air Merak 201 Heavy.
runway 4 left, cleared for takeoff.
Unable taxi. Request detailed taxi instructions. Singapore 25 Super.
JetBlue 1042, taxi to terminal.
Runway 4 left cleared for
JetBlue
takeoff.
659er,
Singapore
continue
25
taxi.
Super.
Taxi to terminal.
JetBlue 2903,
1042.
continue taxi.
Unable taxi, will advise when ready, JetBlue 659er.
Delta 44 Heavy, contact departure.
Unable taxi. Will advise when ready. JetBlue 2903.
Contact departure. Goodbye. Delta 44 Heavy.
JetBlue 1042, hold short of taxiway Foxtrot.
Ground. JetBlue 2903 request taxi runway 4 right.
JetBlue 1042, taxi to terminal via Alpha Golf.
Hold short of taxiway Foxtrot Romeo, JetBlue 1042.
JetBlue 2903, continue taxi.
Taxi to terminal via Alpha Golf, JetBlue 1042.
Speedbird 172 Heavy, continue taxi.
Continue taxi. JetBlue 2903.
Delta 468 Heavy, runway 13 left, clear to land, wind is 3481 knots.
Continue taxi, Speedbird 172 Heavy.
JetBlue 1677, contact departure.
Runway 13 left, cleared to land, Delta 468 Heavy.
Delta 476 Heavy, runway 4 left, line up and wait.
Contact departure, good evening, JetBlue 1677.
Alitalia 605 heavy, wind is 34 at 1 knots, runway 13 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 4 left, line up and wait. Delta 476 heavy.
Endeavour 19907, continue taxi.
Runway 13 right, cleared for takeoff. Alitalia 605 heavy.
JetBlue 788, enter final runway 13 left.
Unable taxi, will advise when ready. Endeavour 19907.
Delta 208 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 4 left via Bravo Kilo.
Enter final runway 13 left. JetBlue 788.
Unable pushback, will advise when ready. Delta 208 heavy.
American 2772, pushback approved, expect runway 13 right via Bravo Quebec.
Ground, Delta 208
wow.
heavy, request pushback. Unable pushback, will advise when ready. American 2772.
JetBlue 2903, continue taxi.
Ground, Endeavour 19907, request taxi runway 4 right.
Iberia 6252 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 13 left.
Continue taxi. JetBlue 2903.
JetBlue 659 pushback approved, expect runway 4 right at Juliet.
Ground. 13 left, pushback approved. Iberia 6252 heavy.
Singapore 25 super, contact departure.
Unable takeoff, runway is too short. JetBlue 659er.
JetBlue 659 pushback approved, expect runway 4 right.
Contact departure. Good evening. Singapore 25 super.
Air Portugal 209 heavy, runway 13 left, clear to land, wind is 34 at 1 knots.
Ground, 4 right, pushback approved. JetBlue 659er.
JetBlue 402, taxi to terminal via Alpha Golf.
Runway 13 left, clear to land. Air Portugal 209er heavy.
Taxi to terminal via Alpha Golf. JetBlue 402.
Tower. JetBlue 788
EVA Air 32
inbound
heavy,
runway
enter
4
final
left.
runway 13 left.
Enter final runway 13 left. EVA 32 heavy. Ground, American 2772, request pushback. Tower, EVA 32 heavy, inbound runway 4 right.
Endeavour 19907, continue taxi.
Ground, Qatar 702 heavy, request pushback. Continue taxi, Endeavour 19907.
Iberia 6252 heavy, continue taxi.
Tower, North Shuttle 7001 heavy, inbound runway 4
Delta
left.
208 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 4 left via Bravo Kilo.
Unable taxi. Will advise when ready. Iberia 6252 heavy.
Ground, 4 left via Bravo Kilo, pushback approved. Delta 208 heavy.
Noah Shuttle 7001 heavy, enter final runway 13 left.
Ground. JetBlue 1205 request pushback.
Enter final runway 13 left.
Alitalia
North
605
Shuttle
heavy,
7001
contact
heavy.
departure. JetBlue 424, runway 13 left, clear to land, wind is 34 at 1 knots.
Contact departure. Good evening. Alitalia 605 heavy.
JetBlue 1205, pushback approved, expect runway 4 right at Juliet.
Runway 13 left, clear to land. JetBlue 424.
Delta 468 heavy, taxi to terminal via Alpha.
Ground. 4 right at Juliet, pushback approved. JetBlue 1205.
JetBlue 659, continue taxi.
Taxi to terminal via Alpha. Delta 468 heavy.
JetBlue 720, enter final runway 13 left.
Unable taxi. Will advise when ready. JetBlue 659er. Enter final runway 13 left. JetBlue 720.
Ground. Iberia 6252 heavy, request taxi runway 13 left.
Endeavour 19907, hold short of runway 4 right.
Ground. JetBlue 659er, request taxi runway 4 right.
Iberia 6252 heavy, continue taxi.
Hold short of runway 4 right. Endeavour 19907.
Continue taxi. Iberia 6252 heavy.
American 2772, pushback approved, expect runway 13 right via Bravo Quebec.
Ground, Swiss 15 heavy, request pushback.
Qatari 702 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 13 right via Bravo Quebec.
Ground. 13 right via Bravo Quebec, pushback approved. American 2772. Ground. 13 right via Bravo Quebec, pushback approved. Qatar 702 heavy.
JetBlue 2903, continue taxi.
Tower. JetBlue 720, inbound runway 4 right.
Continue taxi. JetBlue 2903.
Ground. Endeavour 3332, request pushback. Ground. Delta 208 heavy, request taxi runway 4 left.
Ground. JetBlue 1205 request taxi runway 4 right.
American 2529, runway 13 left, line up and wait.
Runway 13 left, line up and wait. American 2529er.
JetBlue 1205, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, JetBlue 1205.
JetBlue 659er, continue taxi.
Tower, Lot 26 heavy inbound runway 4 left.
Air Portugal 209er heavy, taxi to terminal via Yankee Alpha.
Continue taxi, JetBlue 659er.
Air Portugal 209er heavy, taxi to terminal via Yankee Golf.
Taxi to terminal via Yankee Alpha, Air Portugal 209er heavy.
Apollo 26 heavy, enter final runway 13 left.
Taxi to terminal via Yankee Golf, Air Portugal 209er heavy.
Delta 799er, runway 13 right, clear to land.
Enter final runway 13 left. Lot 26 heavy.
American 13999er, runway 13 left, clear to land. Wind is 34 at 1 knots.
Runway 13 right, clear to land. Delta 799er.
American 2529er, runway 13 left, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 13 left, clear to land. American 139er.
Speedbird 172 heavy, runway 13 left, line up and wait.
Runway 13 left, cleared for takeoff. American 2529er.
JetBlue 424, taxi to terminal via Alpha Golf.
Runway 13 left, line up and wait. Speedbird 172 heavy.
JetBlue 659er, continue taxi.
Taxi to terminal via Alpha Golf. JetBlue 424.
JetBlue 2903, runway 4 right, cleared for takeoff.
Continue taxi, JetBlue 659er.
Runway 4 right cleared for takeoff, JetBlue 2903. Ground, Shamrock 108 heavy, request pushback.
Shamrock 108 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 4 right.
Ground, Carnarsie 702 heavy, request taxi runway 13 right.
American 2772, continue taxi.
Ground, 4 right pushback approved, Shamrock 108 heavy.
Delta 208 heavy, continue taxi.
Unable taxi, will advise when ready. American 2772. Continue taxi, Delta 208
Speedbird
heavy.
172 heavy, wind is 35 at 1 knots, runway 13 left, cleared for takeoff.
Ground, JetBlue 553 request pushback.
JetBlue 2903, hold position.
Runway 13 left, cleared
JetBlue
for takeoff.
2903,
Speedbird
runway
172
4
heavy.
right, line up and wait.
Ground, American 2772 request taxi runway 13 right.
Okay.
Runway 4 right line up and wait, JetBlue
Swiss 15 heavy,
2903.
pushback approved, expect runway 4 left.
Tower, UPS 2182 heavy inbound runway 4 left. Ground, Cathay 865 heavy request pushback.
JetBlue 1205, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, JetBlue 1205.
JetBlue 553, pushback approved, expect runway 4 right at Juliet.
Ground, Shamrock 108 heavy,
JetBlue
request
553,
taxi
pushback
runway 4
approved,
right.
expect runway 4 right.
Unable takeoff, runway is too short.
American
JetBlue 553.
2529er, contact departure.
Ground, 4 right pushback approved.
American
JetBlue
2772,
553.
continue taxi.
Contact departure. Good evening.
Delta
American
799er,
2529er.
taxi to terminal.
Continue taxi. American 2772.
And
Taxi
where
to
else
terminal.
are we?
Delta 799er.
JetBlue 788, runway 13 left, clear to land, wind is 35 at 1 knots.
Runway 13 left cleared to land, JetBlue 788.
JetBlue 2903, wind is 35 at 1 knots, runway 4 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 4 right cleared for takeoff, JetBlue 2903.
Tower, American 1031 inbound runway 4 left.
Endeavour 3332, pushback approved, expect runway 4 right at Juliet.
Ground, 4 right at Juliet pushback approved. Endeavour 3332.
UPS 2182 heavy, enter final runway 13 left. Speedbird 172 heavy, contact departure.
Enter final runway 13 left. UPS 2182 heavy.
Cathay 865 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 13 right.
Contact departure. Goodbye.
Cathay
Speedbird
865 heavy,
172
pushback approved, expect runway 13 right via Bravo, Quebec.
Unable taxi. Request detailed taxi instructions. Cathay 865 heavy. Ground, 13 right by Bravo, Quebec pushback approved. Cathay 865 heavy.
Come on. I need to see something. So Eva is coming in on the
Ground,
left.
JetBlue
NOR
553
on the
request
left as
taxi
well.
runway 4 right.
Okay. JetBlue 553, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, JetBlue 553.
Delta 476 Heavy, runway 4 left, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 4 left cleared for takeoff. Delta 476 Heavy.
JetBlue 659er, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, JetBlue 659er.
Endeavour 19997, runway 4 right, cleared for takeoff. Delta 208 Heavy, continue taxi.
Runway 4 right cleared for takeoff. Endeavour
American
19997.
1399er, taxi to terminal via Bravo.
Continue taxi, Delta 208 Heavy.
Qatari 702 Heavy, continue taxi.
Taxi to terminal via Bravo.
American 1031, enter final runway 13 left.
Continue taxi, Qatar 702 Heavy.
JetBlue 416, enter final runway 13 left.
Enter final runway 13 left, American 1031.
Endeavour 3332, continue taxi.
Enter final runway 13 left, JetBlue 416.
Air Portugal 209 Heavy, continue taxi.
Unable taxi, will advise when ready, Endeavour 3332.
Swiss 15 Heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 13 right via Alpha Quebec.
Continue taxi, Air Portugal 209er Heavy. Ground, 13 right via Alpha Quebec pushback approved, Swiss 15 Heavy.
JetBlue 2903, contact departure.
Ground, Cathay 865 Heavy request taxi runway 13 right.
Eva 32 Heavy, runway 13 left, clear to land, wind is 35 at 0 knots.
Contact departure. Good evening. JetBlue 290
North Shuttle 7001 Heavy, runway 13 left, clear to land, wind is 35 at 0 knots.
Runway 13 left cleared to land, EVA 32 Heavy.
JetBlue 720, runway 13 left, clear to land, wind is 35 at 0 knots.
Runway 13 left cleared to land, North Shuttle 7001 Heavy.
JetBlue 659, wind is 35 at 0 knots, runway 4 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 13 left cleared to land, JetBlue 720.
Royal Air Maroc 201 Heavy, runway 4 left, line up and wait.
Runway 4 right cleared for takeoff, JetBlue 659er. Runway 4 left line up and wait, Royal Air Maroc 201 Heavy.
Tower, JetBlue 416 inbound runway 4 left.
Delta 476 Heavy, contact departure.
Ground, Endeavour 3332 request taxi runway 4 right.
Endeavour 3332, continue taxi.
Contact departure. Good evening. Delta 476 Heavy.
JetBlue 553, hold short of runway 4 right.
Continue taxi, Endeavour 3332.
JetBlue 788, taxi to terminal.
Hold short of runway 4 right, JetBlue 553.
Taxi to terminal. JetBlue 788.
Tower, American 107 Heavy inbound runway 4 left.
Cathay 865 Heavy, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, Cathay 865 Heavy.
JetBlue 1205, runway 4 right, line up and wait.
Runway 4 right, line up and wait. JetBlue 1205.
American 107 Heavy, enter final runway 13 right.
Enter final runway 13 right, American 107 Heavy.
And how else are we doing? All good, all good, all good. Swiss 15 Heavy, continue taxi.
Unable taxi, will advise when ready, Swiss 15 Heavy.
Endeavour 19997, contact departure.
Contact departure, good evening, Endeavour 19907.
Shamrock 108 Heavy, continue taxi.
Continue taxi. Shamrock 108 Heavy.
And Pollard is on the left hand side as well. Pollard 26 Heavy, runway 13 left, clear to land, wind is 35 at 0 knots.
Runway 13 left cleared to land, Pollard 26 Heavy.
Eva 32 Heavy, taxi to terminal via Yankee Juliet Alpha. Eva 32 Heavy, taxi to terminal via Yankee Juliet.
Taxi to terminal via Yankee Juliet Alpha, EVA 32 Heavy.
Endeavour 3332, hold short of runway 4 right.
Taxi to terminal via Yankee Juliet, EVA tree 2 heavy.
JetBlue 1205, wind is 35 at 0 knots, runway 4 right, cleared for takeoff.
Hold short of runway 4 right, Endeavour tree 2.
American 2772, wind is 35 at 0 knots, runway 13 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 4 right cleared for takeoff. JetBlue 1205.
Newark shuttle 17001 heavy, taxi to terminal via Yankee Juliet.
Runway 13 right cleared for takeoff, American 2772.
Iberia 625 heavy, runway 13 left.
Taxi to terminal via Yankee
Iberia
Juliet.
625
North Shuttle
heavy,
7001
runway 13
heavy.
left, line up and wait behind next landing aircraft.
Runway 13 left. Iberia 6252 heavy. Runway 13 left, line up and wait behind next landing aircraft. Iberia 6252 heavy.
JetBlue 659, contact departure.
Contact departure. Good evening, JetBlue 659er.
JetBlue 720, taxi to terminal.
Ground, Swiss 15 heavy, request taxi runway 13 right.
Swiss 15 heavy, continue taxi.
Taxi to terminal, JetBlue 720.
JetBlue 553, wind is 35 at 0 knots, runway 4 right, cleared for takeoff.
Continue taxi, Swiss 15 heavy.
Runway 4 right cleared for takeoff, JetBlue 553.
JetBlue 1205, contact departure.
Contact departure. Goodbye. JetBlue 1205.
Shamrock 108 heavy, continue taxi. Iberia 625 heavy, runway 13 left, cleared for takeoff.
Continue taxi. Shamrock 108
Apollo
heavy.
26, go around.
Runway 13
Apollo
left
26
cleared
heavy,
for
go
takeoff.
around.
Iberia 6252 heavy.
Go around, Lot 26 heavy.
Apollo 26 heavy, contact departure.
Contact departure, goodbye, Lot 26 heavy.
American 2772, contact departure.
Contact departure, good evening, American 2772.
UPS 2182 heavy, runway 13 left, clear to land, wind is 36 at 0 knots.
Runway 13 left cleared to land, UPS 2182 heavy.
Endeavour 3332, runway 4 right, line up and wait.
Runway 4 right line up and wait, Endeavour 3332.
Hopefully we're not going to get penalized here. It's going to be a close one. I made a mistake there. Iberia 6252 heavy, contact departure. JetBlue 553, contact departure.
Contact departure. Good evening. Iberia 6252
JetBlue 553, contact departure.
Unable contact departure.
Royal Air Maroc
JetBlue
201
553.
heavy, wind is 36 at 0 knots, runway 4 left, cleared for takeoff.
Contact departure, goodbye, JetBlue 553.
Qatari 702 heavy, runway 13 right, line up and wait.
Runway 4 left cleared for takeoff, Royal Air Maroc 201 heavy. Runway 13 right line up and wait, Qatar 702 heavy.
What else we got? What else? Delta 208 heavy, runway 4 left, line up and wait.
Runway 4 left line up and wait, Delta 208 heavy.
Shamrock 108 heavy, hold short of runway 4 right.
Hold short of runway 4 right. Shamrock 108 heavy.
American 1031, runway 13 left, clear to land, wind is 36 at 0 knots.
Runway 13 left cleared to land, American 1031.
JetBlue 416, runway 13 left, clear to land, wind is 36 at 0 knots. Endeavour 3332, wind is 36 at 0 knots, runway 4 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 13 left, cleared to land. JetBlue 416.
EVA 32 heavy, continue taxi.
Runway 4 right cleared for takeoff, Endeavour 3332.
North Shuttle 7001 heavy, hold short of taxiway Foxtrot.
Continue taxi, EVA 32 heavy. Hold short of taxiway Foxtrot, North Shuttle 7001 heavy.
Get these two across. Royal Air Maroc 201 heavy, contact departure.
Contact departure, good evening, Royal Air Maroc 201 heavy.
And Qatari 702 heavy, wind is 36 at 0 knots, runway 13 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 13 right cleared for takeoff. Qatar 702 heavy.
And then we got these. Got the American arrival. And that will be it. Shamrock 108 heavy, wind is 36 at 0 knots, runway 4 right cleared for takeoff.
Runway 4 right cleared for takeoff. Shamrock 108 heavy.
Endeavour 3332, contact departure.
Contact departure. Good evening. Endeavour 3332.
UPS 2182 heavy, taxi to terminal. Wherever you want to go.
Taxi to terminal.
Up the top
UPS
there.
2182 heavy.
If I only would have known. But you never know. Cathay 865 heavy, wind is 36 at 0 knots, runway 13 right cleared for takeoff.
Runway 13 right cleared for takeoff. Cathay 865 heavy.
So slowly but gradually we are clearing the field. Qatari 702 heavy, contact departure.
Contact departure. Good evening. Qatar 702 heavy.
American 107 heavy, runway 13 right clear to land, wind is 36 at 0 knots.
Runway 13 right cleared to land. American 107 heavy.
We have 2 quick arrivals on 13 left. So actually this has been a quite interesting and pretty good thought out schedule. PK Mega, well done, because it pretty much finishes everything at the same time. So that's good, really good, well done. Very good schedule. Shamrock 108 heavy, contact departure.
Contact departure. Goodbye. Shamrock 108 heavy.
American 1031 taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. American 1031.
And we shall see. Delta 208 heavy, wind is 36 at 0 knots, runway 4 left cleared for takeoff.
Runway 4 left cleared for takeoff. Delta 208 heavy.
JetBlue 416 taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal, JetBlue 416.
UPS 2182 heavy, hold short of taxiway Foxtrot.
Hold short of taxiway Foxtrot. UPS 2182 heavy.
Cathay 865 heavy, contact departure.
Contact departure. Good evening. Cathay 865 heavy.
And our Pollard flight, we shall, we're going to leave him down the bottom there. We are going to push him to 4 left in case he wants 4 right. We'll have a look at that in a second.
Tower. Pollard 26 heavy,
Yes,
inbound
he
runway
wants to
4
go
right.
4 right. Pollard 26 heavy, enter final runway 4 left.
Enter final runway 4 left. Pollard 26 heavy.
Makes it easier. Swiss 15 heavy, runway 13 right, line up and wait.
Runway 13 right, line up and wait. Swiss 15 heavy.
Delta 208 heavy, contact departure.
Contact departure. Good evening. Delta 208 heavy.
So, what I have noticed is, I'm not sure, let's have a quick look and see how many mistakes we got. 150, okay. Now these 3 mistakes that have been done have been whilst these were turning into the top here, so there's just separation errors. So that is something that I need to work on, to look out for, so we can get better distancing. When they turn around here, they sort of, one goes down, the other one's still on his way up, and then in between here we just don't get enough distance. So that is something to look out for. But this was my first try here at the Carnarsie approach. I hope you still enjoyed. Swiss 15 heavy, wind is 36 at 0 knots, runway 13 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 13 right cleared for takeoff. Swiss 15 heavy.
American 107 heavy, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal, American 107 heavy.
Apollo 26 heavy, runway 4 left, clear to land, wind is 36 at 0 knots.
Runway 4 left cleared to land, Apollo 26 heavy.
So all in all, we had one go around, and we had 15 mistakes. So we got 16, so we got 48 aircrafts movements. And yeah, well, like I said, it was the first Carnarsie approach. Somebody was asking, a viewer was asking if we could do that. Unfortunately, we can't, but this is pretty much the only way that I would try to interpret and see that we could do it this way. So, well, maybe I hope you have enjoyed it a little bit. And if you did, feel free to subscribe and comment down below. Hit the notification bell. Swiss 15 heavy, contact departure.
Contact departure. Goodbye. Swiss 15 heavy.
Go. And then let's see if we can have the arrival coming in here, our final arrival. It's always good to come into New York, eh? Have a look at this. Isn't this wonderful? And here we go. And this shall be our final arrival. Apollo 26 heavy, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal, Apollo 26 heavy.
See if we can see a little bit of the terminals in New York. You don't usually see those. All JetBlue terminals in the back there, all dark now, because we are finished for the day. We'll quickly get these people home as well. And then we are finished. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. This has been something new that we haven't done before, and I hope you have enjoyed. And if you did, you know what to do. Until then, this has been another presentation of TP Gaming. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care, and goodbye.